What would you do if you were alone? No reinforcements, no retreat, no hope. Just one rifle, a handful of grenades, and the cold knowledge that 200 enemy soldiers were hunting you. This is the story of a single soldier who held off 200 Germans for 3 days, until help never came. The date is December 17th, 1944. The location, a nameless ridge overlooking a vital crossroads near the village of Lanzerath, Belgium. The Ardennes Forest. The opening hours of what history would call the Battle of the Bulge. A single observation post manned by just one American soldier from the 99th Infantry Division, the so-called Battle Babies, stood directly in the path of the German 6th Panzer Army's main advance. His name was Private First Class John R. McKinney, and what happened next would become the stuff of legend. Not because he survived, but because he chose to stay when every logical bone in his body told him to run. This is not a story of glory. It is a story of one man's impossible stand against an entire German battle group, and the bitter truth that even heroes can be forgotten. To understand what happened on that frozen Belgian ridge, we must first understand the desperation of December 1944. The Allies had broken out of Normandy. Paris was liberated. The Siegfried Line lay ahead, and the German army was retreating, or so the generals believed. But Adolf Hitler had one final gamble. He would mass 29 divisions in absolute secrecy, strike through the lightly defended Ardennes Forest, cross the Meuse River, and capture the port of Antwerp. The goal? Split the British and American armies. Force a second Dunkirk. Break the Western Alliance. The German 6th Panzer Army, commanded by SS General Joseph Sepp Dietrich, was the spearhead. They had 200 new Tiger II tanks, 500 armored vehicles, and over 60,000 men. Their objective: punch through 2 American infantry divisions and race to the sea. Opposing them, the 99th Infantry Division, nicknamed the Battle Babies because they had never seen combat, green as spring grass, and spread impossibly thin across 25 miles of frozen forest. Private First Class John R. McKinney was 23 years old, a farm boy from Ohio. Solid, quiet. He had landed in France just 3 months earlier with a 99th's 394th Infantry Regiment, Company A. His weapon, an M1 Garand rifle. His equipment, 1 blanket, 2 days of K rations for fragmentation grenades, and a .45 caliber pistol he had traded a carton of cigarettes for. On the morning of December 16th, 1944, McKinney and 3 other men were ordered to establish an observation post on a small ridge overlooking the Losheim Gap, a natural corridor through the Ardennes that German panzers would inevitably use. Their job was simple: spot the enemy and call for artillery. Their support: 1 SCR 300 radio with dying batteries. Little did they know that directly opposite them, hidden in the pine forest just 2 miles away, was Camp Grutpaper, the most powerful armored battle group in the German army. 4,800 SS Panzer Grenadiers, 600 paratroopers, and 140 tanks, including the monstrous 70-ton King Tigers. By dawn on December 17th, the Germans were moving. At 0530 hours, the ground beneath McKinney's feet began to tremble. He had grown used to the distant rumble of artillery, but this was different. This was a deep, rhythmic vibration, the sound of tracks. Hundreds of tracks. Through his M8 binoculars, McKinney watched the fog lift over the German positions. What he saw stopped his heart. Column after column of German armor emerged from the tree line. Mark IV tanks, Panther tanks, half-tracks loaded with SS Panzer Grenadiers in their P-dot camouflage, and behind them, the unmistakable boxy silhouette of Tiger IIs. Nearly 11 feet tall, their 88mm guns capable of destroying an American Sherman from 2 miles away. He grabbed the radio handset. Lion Spur 6, this is Lion Spur 3. Enemy force in sight. Estimated battalion strength. Panzers and infantry. Grid coordinates 849366. Request immediate artillery fire. Static. The batteries were dead. He tried again. Nothing. By 0700 hours, the lead German elements were just 800 yards away. McKinney could now hear voices, guttural commands in German, the clanking of equipment, the whine of half-track engines. The enemy was so close he could see the frost on their helmet rims. His three companions, Privates Miller, DeCarlo, and O'Hara, looked to him. They were 20-year-olds. Kids. One was sick with dysentery. Another had frozen his feet during the night. They had no anti-tank weapons. No bazooka. No mortars. Just 4 M1 rifles and a single Browning automatic rifle. McKinney made a decision. "You three," he whispered, "fall back to the battalion line. I'll stay and slow them down. Go now, before the light gets any better." Miller refused. "We stay together." McKinney looked him dead in the eye. "That's an order. Now move." At 0730 hours, the 3 men slipped down the reverse slope of the ridge, moving from tree to tree. McKinney watched them disappear into the white haze. Then he turned back to face the enemy. He had 1 hour at most. By 0830 hours, the first German scouts reached the base of the ridge. 10 men, SS Panzer Grenadiers. They moved cautiously, submachine guns sweeping the tree line. McKinney waited. He could hear their boots crunching through the frozen snow. He could smell their cigarette smoke. At 0845 hours, the lead scout stepped into a clearing just 75 yards away. McKinney placed the front sight of his M1 Garand on the man's chest. "Breathe. Exhale. Squeeze." The rifle cracked. The scout dropped.